Yeah, she has till 6 p.m. 6:48 p.m. July 1st, 2086. That's crazy. You give her till 6 p.m. Slap the verb. Awesome song. I'm gonna save again, dude. This shit's getting me fucking ready. Like, I am in it, dog. Are you? Sarah? Does this excite you going into courtrooms? What do you mean? You don't feel the tension in the air as the audience murmurs among themselves? You don't feel a fiery sense of justice rising in your guts as the prosecutor smirks at your ragtag assembly of witnesses? Do you really think this is going to be like some kind of movie where the good guys save the day? Probably not. Though that would be nice if it were. What's your deal anyway? Did David train you off of movie marathons from hell or something? We did watch film together. If that's what you're asking, though, he was rarely the one who suggested it. So you were the aggressor? What's an android get out of watching a flick anyway? What do I get? Why do you do it? What's your reason? I'm not sure how to answer your question. Never mind. Forget what I was talking. I forgot what I was talking to? That is crazy to say. I like the performances. Sure, there you go. Got a crush in Humphrey Bogart or something. He's a handsome man, but it's not the actors I like so much as their performance. The truth is, besides father, I've very little experience when it comes to people. I hadn't noticed. I read the net and watch people and what they share of their lives, but it's all so subtle, so hard to follow. There are so many unspoken rules that can't be taught, only learned, and I often struggle to grasp them. You're all so complex, so detailed, but the characters on the screen were exaggerated, larger than life. The actors insinuated their body language is precise and meaningful. Their faces are bright and softly lit, and their eyes are... It's fiction, so these characters and their stories, they have a beginning, a middle, and end. And the people on the screen don't ask anything of you except your attention. You can't disappoint them or make them feel awkward. You can just watch and learn. But what about you, Adonia? What about me? Do you like movies? Sure. Back when I was a kid. Really? Who was your favorite director? What was your favorite film? It was a long time ago. I don't remember. Or don't want to. So I have a feeling when episode 2 comes out, I'm going to learn this game could do it too, but I have a feeling when episode 2 comes out, I'm going to learn a lot about Morgan. A lot. State building. Floor 48. Things are quieter than I expected at the courthouse. Though I've always felt courthouse is a bit of a misnomer. Government building is probably the best way to describe these towers. All encompassing and impenetrably vague. Hundreds of floors of officials and documents and paper pushing quotes with a couple dozen courtrooms squeezed in along the way. Didn't think I'd be arguing in court when I woke up today. Didn't think my friend would be dead, or that he'd have thrust an android onto my lap either. I could just walk in there and concede. Emma would be irritated and more than a little confused, but I could play it off as an exercise in grief. The android would complain loudly, of course, but I wouldn't have to listen to it. Now that it's registered in my name, I could probably just order the damn thing to reset its memory. But I haven't done that. I guess I don't plan to. Why? It must be because I have my suspicions as well. Sarah insists that David would never commit, and I haven't actually stopped to ask myself whether or not I agree. David was rational, subdued, private, hard on himself, and not prone to emotional outbursts. So maybe that's why I'm finding myself outside the courtroom, preparing to humor and add suspicions before the state. Because I don't really believe David would himself either. What's your progress bar at? I can confirm that I am making progress. Well, shit, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But it would be difficult to summarize the progress in terms of complete percent. Give it your best shot. 4%. Are you feeling confident in your case? Markedly less after hearing that. Do you think the judge will be enabling your argument? What are you talking about? Do you know the judge we've been assigned? Are they particularly lenient or strict? Judges are always a coin flip. So, you do know what adjunct is, don't you? I don't even know what that means. Are you expecting to see a bearded old man with a robe, a gavel when he went in there? Should I not? Adjuncts are android judges, okay? With all the authority that entails. New words. An adjutant. Adjuncts are automated dependents that preside over trials for the state. While most adjuncts are designed and sold as software, then loaded onto courthouse-specific hardware, including Android body. They can interpret trial proceedings and render judgment based entirely on records, if need be, ruling on cases in an externally digitally capacity, reviews actions by the third parties are more incredible and even-handed in their sentences than human judges. Because they cannot be bribed or intimidated, adjutants are especially preferred for cases involving organized crime or corporate misconduct. But they can be tampered with. Use a 9-fold personality engram for rendering their judgments and building consensus, known as the Nanowary system among software engineers. Because each of these 9 personas are constructed by a different think tank and institution from across the political spectrum, ideological contamination or intelligence units is practically impossible. There have been a small number of reported cases where non-array processing has bored particularly enthusiastic or eccentric personas, presumably in an unorthodox, if not effective, attempt to reconcile particular disparate opinions across their 9 constituent personalities. With a single authoritarian loud voice, with the state's court backlog essentially clearing up for the past half-decade, questions arose as the continued need for independence to enlighten the judicial system's human resources burden, but Senate Investigative Committee 74JD91 adjuncts from the legal system would be prohibitively expensive at this point. Okay. I am surprised to hear that people are willing to accept rulings made by automated dependents. Rulings come from landmark cases in the higher courts. Those are passed down by actual judges. Real people with decades of study and experience. But not every eviction case or traffic ticket that ends up in court requires years of legal experience. Sometimes all you need is a referee and a sentence algorithm. Damn, that sucks. So androids are used to reduce caseload. Been that way for decades. But how was a law that replaced judges ever enforced? Wouldn't there be injunctions stalling? Judges did fight it for years at every level and in every theater. But the public lost their patience for that kind of obstruction during the 60s. The state needed to shred budgets across the board, and so judges that couldn't be replaced by years of legal battles were instead ushered into early retirement by the unrelenting force of our great nation's accountants. And it's not controversial having machines determine sentences for human beings. Whatever controversy there is, it gets aimed at the machines, not the people who put them there. And the machines cannot lose sleep over it. Besides, used to be The evening the most high-profile of crimes wouldn't get a court date until weeks and months later. Nowadays, most crimes are prosecuted within a single business week. That's not rushing things. Keeps people in my line of work on their toes, that's for sure. Just surprised to hear that they're so hasty. Don't they teach you about classical conditioning in android school? You gotta feed the dog immediately after you ring the bell. If punishment doesn't follow the crime in quick succession, the lesson doesn't stick. I see. But if adjacents are so effective, why aren't they used in every trial? Why aren't they used in politics? That's a logical question to ask. And the answer is, that logic only gets you so far when it comes to people. Everyone wants courts to be as just as possible, even adjuncts are truly impartial and incorruptible. Everyone wants justice, sure. But there are other considerations to be had, such as disgust. What? That all people really care about, or what all their morals boil down to. Just what they do or don't find disgusting. Only problem is, everything's more palatable when viewed through a screen. So when everyone sees the world through AR and cameras and no one ever gets dirt under their nails, you'd be surprised what you can get away with. I don't understand. Yeah, well, therein lies the problem. Like people like DAs are terrible people, okay? Let's go here. Me and Emma are about to go to war. Gonna turn this courtroom into a war zone. These moments of black screen calm really get me to sit for a second and just breathe. 6:24 p.m. July 1st, 2086. Courtroom 448D. Emma. Just preliminary hearing, huh? You wouldn't know it from the look on her face. I shouldn't have expected any leeway once we stepped in. Every time this game gives me a chance to save now, I am putting a pin in it. Now, not with her. That's the adjutant up there. Is it asleep? It's loading. Oh, that looks sick. I love that. It looks almost divine. Like godlike. It needs to load. Don't be rude. Not every ad can afford to be decked out with extravagantly as you. Especially not those the state buys in bulk. There's an audience. You mean the gallery? That's nothing. Could have been a lot worse. Word of any trial in the case of David Assure's death must have spread like wildfire. Even a mock trial like this one. Detectives like Reyes or London would get chewed out for leaking things to the press. But uninformed officers had a little to lose and a lot to gain by dropping a text to their attentive friends in the media. And then there's corporate plants, interns, usual preferable ones with modded eyes. It's illegal to film inside a courtroom, but this is the year 2086. Things are gonna get out one way or another. I don't like having my face on camera. I don't like attention in general. But I'm not such a coward that I'd skip David's funeral just because there'd be paparazzi outside of it. My pretty little likeness was gonna end up in the background of some tabloid photograph one way or another by the end of this circus. At least this way. It's decently marketing for my legal services. What will happen once the adjutant finishes loading? How will the trial proceed? With all those films you watched, I'd figured that you could exclabrate that. Asking so to correct any misconceptions. Well, not everything you saw on the silver screen is outdated. The court will come to order, and there will be a clarification of the charges. The defense enters a plea, and if it's not guilty, then prosecution begins to make their case. That means calling witnesses to the stand, correct? Mostly, sometimes they'll testify virtually from a separate location. Depends on the security concerns surrounding the particular individual and the case. What would you do then? Sit there and watch? No. If I want to get paid, I cross-examine witnesses after the prosecution is done questioning them. I can present evidence or witnesses of my own in response as long as I have discovery backing me. You said that before. Discovery means just that I can't pull stuff out of my pocket and present it without any kind of context. I have to have proof that I acquired it legally during the course of my investigation. Most of the time that means having records or witnesses that can verify my investigation, which I can provide. You didn't think I was letting you tag along because I liked you, did you? And the jury, I don't see where they were sitting. The jury hasn't sat in actual courtrooms for years now. They have their own chambers where they watch a feed of the trial proceeding with anonymity. And that's not an issue. Don't people want to look someone in the eye before passing judgment on them? You've got an old-fashioned sense of justice, don't you? But there's no jury in a preliminary hearing. Anyway, it's only meant to evaluate whether or not the prosecution has enough evidence to go to trial. Merely formality in today's day and age. With tools like optics and arcs, there's never any shortage of evidence to work with. All you have to do today is convince the adjutant. Eraser said, that done. Adjutants lean heavily towards evidence over arguments. And right now, all the evidence suggests that David himself. It's going to be an uphill battle. I can't afford to stumble. I need to focus on establishing alternative interpretations of the facts, and it needs to be solid. But I don't have a suspect or even a motive for David yet. Anyway, I need to be sharp. Emma doesn't play nice enough for me to do anything less. I think it's waking up. This third lower court is now in session. Adjutant AD-84 presiding. I call to order the case of the people versus Assure. I like the eyes. Do the people wish to make an opening statement? No, Your Honor. No point in bothering when it's just an adjutant here. Very well, does the defense wish to make an opening statement? Not at this time, Your Honor. Might as well ring the bell and get this shit show started. If neither of the people nor the defense wish to make an opening statement, then it falls to me to set the stage. My model name is Adjutant. My unit designation code is AD-84. I am a machine and automated dependent, and I serve the state by presiding over trials. You might find yourself wondering why. What gives a machine the right to judge a human? A fair question, but the answer is simple. In every culture, in every society, no matter how it is worshipped, enshrined, or defined, justice has one defined quality. Justice is beautiful. Oh, she has actual eyes. Like a balanced equation, like a golden ratio, like the virtuant man, justice is beautiful. So what gives me that right? This gorgeous bod. Well, not what I was expecting to be said. Whatever, forget it. Forget I said anything. I was trying to lighten the mood, but I could see everyone hates me. Do trials without me. Do the trial without me, they're guilty, or whatever. Your Honor? Wait. What the flip? The defendant's already dead. Why are we doing this? Is this a debug thing? Because I'll log the error if I need to. No, Your Honor, this is a preliminary hearing of determining whether or not David Assure in fact committing as he... Hume, I get it. You want to make sure he wasn't cuckoo in the cranium before you cut his will like a T-bone. I didn't realize the engines were so lively. They aren't. They're supposed to be extra and status quo. Looks like we got served the most in need of repairs the court system could find. Whatever paper pusher we rushed to get this trial going must have wanted a little payback for the kindness. What's that look for? Could it be you're trying to size me up? Dude, I love this robot. It's amazing. Wouldn't dream of it, Your Honor. Good, because if you had doubts about my ability to run this trial, I could always just enact summary judgment here and now. I'm sure you find my ruling to be fair and even-handed. That won't be necessary, Your Honor. She's much more of a character than I'm used to seeing up there, even counting all the flesh and blood judges I've met. But she's still an adjutant. She'll follow the evidence where it leads. So as long as I can make a few adjustments for the occasional outburst from the bench, my plan's still workable. So people, shall we get started with the first witness? Right away, Your Honor. People call Dr. Yumi Saito to the stand. Alright, there we go. Time to save. Born September 2nd. Tall as shit. Heavy as shit. No blood type. Automated definition. Likes raw salmon. Weird. Because you're not a warm body. You shouldn't eat. Running water and gymnastics. Also weird. Dislikes criminals, contrarians, me, and pigeons. Interesting. She's a Libra. Self-assigned. Also interesting. Type open, abundant, observant. Oh, people. 3 sizes. Oh my god. He was right. She was gonna lose her money on that question. Oh my god. There was an ad that answered it. B. Okay, the waist and... That's crazy. That she just answers that like it's nothing. Damn. I'm dealing with a real savant of a woman. Of an ad. It's Yumi. Hey. So how about it, pretty lady? You swear to tell the whole and unadulterated truth to the best of your ability? I do. Good enough for me? Dr. Saito, were you in charge of the autopsy for David Assure? Were you not? I was. And when did you make your examination? I started last night. Well, technically 1 a.m. would be very early this morning. I think you could still say last night if you were talking about 1 in the morning. Objection? Bitch, what? Defense will have their opportunity to cross-examine. Until then, they should refrain from making arraigned remarks. Bitch, did you just tell me objection when I just made an observation? The hell? All I said was, yeah, what she said. You mean sustained. Don't get cute with me, counselor. Ooh. Being cute is my job. God damn, we're barely getting started. That seemed pretty bad, Adonia. Making mistakes will increase your blind? Blind is how much credit you'll lose for answering incorrectly when yourself aren't controlling the ante. Blind increments on its own throughout the trial as it stacks higher. Oh shit, this was what he meant when it said it had new shit. But of course, I'm going to be scum shaving, so it doesn't matter. but resets at the end of each day. Blinds start and caps out at the higher number if you're playing in high roller. Mind blind numbers in the top left when it appears. King. We should try avoiding being penalized in the future. Thanks for the tip. Shake it off. I'll get my chance to raise objections of my own soon enough. Dr. Saito, were you able to determine the cause of death? He passed away due to respiratory failure. Could you explain what that means to the court? Essentially, he wasn't getting enough oxygen into his blood. It seems by the time he arrived at the hospital, he was no longer breathing. Does respiratory failure look like, what are the symptoms? There would be lightheadedness, dizziness, fainting, pale skin, a bluish tinge around the extremities, and the condition he was matching those symptoms? Correct. In your experience, what are the most common causes of respiratory failure? It can be caused by injury or disease, but the subject has no wounds or respiratory illness and otherwise appeared to be perfectly healthy. And what else could cause respiratory failure then? It's also commonly seen in fatal drug overdoses. Drug overdoses? Did you perform a tox screening on Dr. Sure? Yes, but his tox screening came back clean. Whatever killed him, I actually said it. It wasn't something we've encountered before. Wait, a clean tox screening? Clean. Dialogue will proceed automatically during testimony, but you can still choose to advance text manually while continuing. To read carefully and wait for the witness to make a statement that is wrong. Then hit the call button to call their bluff. Hover over the call button or toggle on Insight to focus on the claims within a witness's statement. Insight can be disabled in the settings. Testimony will loop until called. Can't let this chance slip by. I need to catch her mistake. Then the second it comes out of her mouth. David's contract, upright cup. The subject passed away due to respiratory failure. Essentially, he was getting enough oxygen in his blood. He wasn't experiencing lightheadedness, dizziness, fainting. The subject was healthy, therefore respiratory failure must have been restrained through drug overdose. Tox screening came back clean. Call a statement. You need to respond with evidence. Confirm your card before the timer runs out. Rose River whiskey drank before death, negative for poison. You're fucking with me that I have that short of time. We're gonna go to the last one. Clean. The whiskey? Oh, the whiskey? It's impossible for David Assure's tox screen to be clean, and we all know it. Since he was on camera drinking alcohol the night that he died. I swore I tried it. I must have tried it on the wrong thing. Ah, that makes sense. You successfully objected to testimony for the first time. Thank God. The witnesses merely misspoke, Your Honor. It is plainly stated that the tox report itself, David Assure did have alcohol in his blood, but not such a concentrated as it to be lethal. Yeah, my bad. When I said the tox screen clean, I just meant it didn't tell the attending physicians anything that didn't already know. Overall, a little more nitpicky than I like to be, but at least I was able to balance the momentum more or less. I'm going to be doing this scum saving the whole time. Shall we continue, Dr. Saito? If the stock screenings were negative, the pharmaceuticals and drugs were cause respiratory failure. During the autopsy, I analyzed his blood and was able to isolate a foreign compound. So there was a lethal dose of drug inside his body to just happen to be a drug the hospital had never encountered before. That's correct. All going to get tired pretty fast if we don't at least pick a placeholder name for this substance, Your Honor. People don't object, Your Honor. In that case, I'll put my own creative history to work coming up with the original scientific fitting name for the substance. A name like Omega. Omega-3. That name is already taken? Fine, call it Delta or whatever. Delta, used in science to denote an unknown variable. Not bad. Delta has other meanings when it comes to drugs, but yeah, our Delta match is no known substance, pharmaceutical, or toxicology records. That being said, chemically it does have all the hallmarks of a general depressant. I know the feeling. So it stands to reason that it would exhibit a similar effect on the body when ingested. You said ingested, why? I eliminated all other possibilities during my examination of the body. He must have swallowed it, and judging from his stomach content, it must have been liquid. Thank you, Saito. Shall I summarize things for the court? Yes, please, I wasn't listening that closely. The victim died of respiratory failure, and his tox screening showed that his blood was clear of anything that could cause respiratory failure, except for the unknown substance that poisoned we've labeled Delta. Well, that all sounds like a, oh, buddy boy, I'm just saving? Because I know things are gonna get hairy. Not quite yet, Your Honor. Clearly even poisoning, but there's at least one detail about this case that doesn't feel like a at all. Drank the day before he died, didn't see him do anything. Corroborate. Failure unknown substance. Like this is the. Oh, I can quick save? Hold on. F4. June's testimony. Shouldn't get ahead of themselves. There's nothing textbook about his supposed that had a witness sitting there watching it happen. As you say. Well, now I'm lost. What is this was this poisoning or not? If that's the case, then perhaps we should give the defense the opportunity to cross-examine, unless they're going to insist on testifying themselves. How kind of you to offer.